Hey guys, how is it going? This is Sharky Prodava and this is the IB Survival Diary, not the guide. I made a mistake in the last video. Also a special shout out to two very important people, namely Casey Hyde for creating the idea of the Survival Diary and for Russell Teo for giving some encouragement on the way to make this come true. Now, we all know that IB is about school, CAS, success, and making sure you go to the university or to any other institution where you want to go to. However, it is also important that we as IB students, and to be fair, any other students are involved into the things around the world, be it politics, culture, education, friends, media, etc., 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 yada yada yada. So, sorry, I'm still sick. So basically, I found that thing on the internet, basically on Facebook. It's the new campaign that the USA devised to counteract the school shootings, which unfortunately were increasing over the past few years. The campaign basically consists of the person. Okay, let me formulate this. F5, go. The campaign is basically that if the shooter is at the school, people are supposed to lock the doors, from what I saw in the video, report it in, and if the shooter enters the room or the building, the purpose is to attack him rather than running away. So just swarm onto him in huge numbers and subdue him into staying on the ground. Well, as you can see, it's pretty controversial because you have a shooter with a gun and you're supposed to rush at him. Well, I was thinking about that, and before I even go, I'm gonna tell you that I'm not an analytical person. I'm not really in charge of Pentagon or any anti-terrorist organizations. I've never been in school shootings. So all I'm about to say is my own opinion, and you shouldn't be entitled to listen to it, or agree to it, or disagree with it. You can analyze what I say, and I will try to make sure that I express myself as much clearly as possible, and I provide as much reasoning as possible for my explanation. Basically, what I think is the advantage of such a campaign. The advantage of such a campaign is that the shooter won't really expect people to rush on him. And to be fair, some students, especially from middle high school, might be strong enough to actually overpower him and actually subdue him. And I mean, when you're with a gun and you expect everybody to fear you and suddenly nobody fears you, you kind of have this moment of what's going on? And you stop her and you stop. And usually those few seconds are more than enough to throw the person on the ground and just pressure him. I also like the idea of immediately calling the 911 and actually locking all the rooms because it increases the chance of survival basically. Another advantage of this is basically if you lock the room and the person tries to break through, you can always take a chair and smack him on the head while he or she tries to get into. Well, those are the advantages. And as you can see, to sum it up, if you lock the room, there is less chance the person gets in. If you warn the 911 or the police, or whoever for this reason you may need to warn to, also there is a chance that the help arrives quicker and the death is prevented. And if you just attack the person, not one person goes and attacks the shooter because that is stupid. It's a kill and that's it. A few people must attack it. Usually, the more the better. I just swarm on him, and well, my personal opinion, if you have a chair, just smack him on the head. That also does the damage. And hell, your parents will cover the money for the chair, or even you yourself. Your life is more valuable than this. Now, sorry, emotional. So now let's look at the disadvantages. And the disadvantages of the situation are that yes, there are more numbers of the people, and yes, there may be a few moments of stopper, maybe, mind you, not will be, but maybe. Still, it's the person who has a gun who decided to come to school for whatever reason, or to another place like kindergarten, or God forbid people come to kindergarten, don't you dare come there, or don't you dare come to school, just don't shoot anybody. But anyways, if the person comes, and the person with a gun who came to the place to shoot at people, so there is already some sort of determination, whether it is based on desperation or some other factor. It is still determination of some sort. And it won't be easy to break this determination just by like swarming on the person. Most likely, when people swarm on the person, unless it's like a complete surprise, because usually what I saw in the video is that the person enters. Okay, let me allow you a small simulation. That's how it looked like on the video. I'll try to find the link and post that in the description. But basically, so imagine that. So that is the classroom, imagine. And so people are sitting at those chairs, like roughly. What happens is that the person goes through the open door, and at this moment, people would come either from this direction at him or from that, so basically at me. But when I am the shooter and I enter, and I have a gun, and I see people rushing at me, what I would usually do is just point and just shoot randomly at the people, because that's also what I came here for. And the whole problem with this idea of swarming up is that it might work, but at the same time the person might start shooting and might actually kill somebody in the process. And it was even said in the video itself that the case is fairly controversial, and you can easily see why it is controversial. It is controversial because on one hand, it is a fairly effective way to stop the aggression, but on the other hand, it might cost a few lives, and this is, however, raises an ethical dilemma of, is it worth it to actually do something about it? Now, I honestly do not know. As I said, I've never been to a school shooting, I don't have a personal experience. My personal opinion, yes, my personal opinion is how you should handle this. If a person breaks into your room despite you blocked it and you stay quiet and you call the police, but the person still breaks into your room and you know that he or she is gonna break sooner or later, as I said, you just make sure you sneak behind so when he enters the room he does not see you immediately, and you try to, knock the person out as soon as possible. Now, do not kill him, because if you kill him, believe me, even if it is in self-defense, this will not make you any better than the killer who came to the school or the other institution to kill. No, it won't. You might be excused in the court, but believe me, it won't make you a better person. Try to knock him out. As I said, take a chair, smack him on the head. Or better yet, try to just aim for the critical spots, for example. If you just punch the person in the nose area, not really hard, it's enough to knock the person out or cause extreme pain. Try also to grab the person's wrists when you see it. If you're strong enough, just try to lock him down and wrestle him. Also, it's a good idea to kick in the shins, because if you kick in the shins, it's a painful spot and the person will most likely collapse. Also, this area, so this is the knee, area behind the knee is also fairly vulnerable to attacks and all the other small spots in the area. After all, he came to do some harm to you, and as I said, you're not allowed to kill him or cause permanent damage, but using those sneaky tricks to knock people out may be quite effective. As I said before, do not take my advice close to heart, because I'm not a professional. I used to do some martial arts over time, that's why I know some of those tricks. But if you think that I'm wrong in some ways, I am always open to conversations, and if you actually see that there was a lot of critic for and against, I might continue the video and do even more deep research, because I personally view the topic really, important in the lives of many people, because it's about the fact that people cannot come to schools or institutions safely, because there is a chance that some person will come there and start killing. And that's not the way people are supposed to study. No, children are supposed to sit at schools and get education in safety. When this safety isn't happening because of those things, something must be done about it. And while, as I said, I really like this new approach the US government has done, it has several flaws. So to sum up my little rant, that's a bit of a long video. To sum up my little rant, the advantages of this idea is that it might startle a person. You can always go down in numbers, lock in the room, and call in the 911 in advance. Gives you quite a safe amount of time if you're to be hidden, and also the help arrives sooner. Disadvantage is that the person is coming into a room and you're rushing him in his plain sight, his or her plain sight. The person might raise a gun and start shooting, and even if you manage to overpower the person, there might still be some casualties. In my opinion, what you need to do is to make sure that you hide somewhere where you cannot be immediately seen, and try to, well, create some sort of a, well, disruption so the person can drop the gun or bend down from the pain shock. And as I said, you should not go over the top and kill the person, because it will make you exactly that this person was about to become before he entered your room, a killer, and that is not good. Well, that's all about for today. Maybe I will do something more. That was Sharky Pro Diver, and see you.